Welcome to the greatest show on the internet, the Apostrophe Show with your host, Ian Robert Anderson. Start the music.
Wouldn't it be just amazing if just people shared photographs of your business online all the time? Well, there's a museum that sort of harnessed the idea of that and has been incredibly successful. Talking about visuals, there's a bunch of ads by, of all people, McDonald's, which I think is quite incredible, and how to get free library books. I've been reading books from... I'm just going to hold off. I don't want to spoil it. But you can get free books that you can have to buy on Amazon. I'll show you some prices and tell you how to do it. And then there's a very cool add-on for wheelchairs. I know it's a random topic, but it's brilliant what they did. So let's talk about the Museum of Illusions. When I was in Istanbul, I actually went by a museum. Didn't go in it, but I did see it. And let me just go to the next bit. So it actually started in Croatia, amazing place, in 2015, and has grown to, it says Croatia, I'm not sure if it says 30 cities. It's actually a lot more than 30 cities, but so it says, enter the fascinating world of illusions, which will trick your confidence in your own senses, but also amaze you by doing so. The world that will confuse you completely, but also educate you. We promise you will be thrilled because nothing is what it seems, especially not in the Museum of Illusions. I'll show you some pictures in a second, but what's really incredible is how many, it's a franchise model, how many franchises they've gotten out there. I'm just going to read you a few as this scrolls because there's too many to read all of them. But Athens, Belgrade, Boston, Budapest, Charlotte, Cairo, Denver, Dubai, Istanbul, the one I saw, Hamburg, Kansas, Kuala Lumpur, London, Vegas, Madrid, Marseille, Milan, New York, Paris, Scottsdale, Shanghai, Sydney, Tel Aviv, Valencia, Washington, Vienna, all over the world with this exact same model. And here's what I think the reason is. Not only is it interesting, illusions are cool, but the whole museum is set up for you to take pictures of yourself in crazy positions, which of course they must know that you're going to go home and you're going to post it on Instagram. And you're going to tag the Museum of Illusions. And when someone asks you, oh, how did you stand on that table with your finger? You're going to talk about this museum. So I think that was one of the primary ways that they've grown so much is because of people posting pictures. So we have a picture of a guy basically doing a handstand on a table, but with just one finger. Now, I'm sure this is all because in reality, they're not doing that. You just turn the camera the other way. There's a kid along the wall, kind of like Spider-Man. And there's another one, they're sort of laying down, but there's someone stuck on the wall. There's a lot of these little rooms. I'm just giving you a few that I saw on their Instagram. And there's one where a guy kind of has his head on hand on some woman's head, but she's very, very tiny, but it looks like she's just a tiny person. Once again, people all up on the ceiling. There's a picture of one guy around a table, but it looks like there's like 7 of them. I think it's because there's mirrors. I think it's just one and then there's mirrors and it makes it look like he's around the table. And one of them looks like a woman's head is sort of just on a plate. I think it's because there's mirrors. But visually, there's a lot of material here for these people to go home and post on Instagram. So if you're a museum, what do you have or what can you come up with for people to take an interesting selfie and post online? You just have to make a room or a wall or anything one time and give them a reason to snap that selfie, and then they'll go home, and more than likely, if it's very cool, they'll post it on social media, probably tag your museum, free promotion. So genius idea, Museum of Illusions all over the world. Now, I really like well-designed ads, and here's some ads of all, like I said, of all companies, McDonald's, but they've done a great job, probably because they have a huge budget. I'm just going to show you a few of these I thought were really, really clever. So there's this picture of this garage, but the garage kind of has, it looks like glass, like 2 rows of glass, and then there's some foliage, and then what looks like maybe it's a letter or something like that. I'm not sure, but it looks like a cheeseburger, but it's a garage door. It's very clever, and it's for McDelivery. Really nice. And then it looks like they took 4 French fries and sort of laid it out in like a Wi-Fi signal. Clever. And here are stacks, is a stack of phones, but it's like a light tan and then a dark brown and then green and then light tan, dark brown, yellow, green. It looks like a Big Mac, but made out of phones stacked on top of one another. Genius. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what looks like fries, but they're phones lined up along the side of it. Looks like fries and a Big Mac. Very smart. Here's a funny ad. Well, it's kind of funny, but it looks like a man kissing a woman, but it's not. It's actually a cheeseburger. Just the way the light is and the way the camera is, and then it's really smart. And it says, "I'm loving it." And here's a Halloween ad. It's basically, they took a fry cup, like those McDonald's fry cups. There's 2 fries in it, and one it's upside down, and one of them has a little bit of ketchup on it. It kind of looks like fangs, and it says Happy Halloween. Clever. So there's these billboards, and I like these. There's 3 of them, and the top one is it's kind of like if they, the McDonald's arches, if you zoomed in on the middle part, and it kind of made a V, and it says next exit. Smart. And then if you sort of zoomed in and moved it to the left a little bit, it kind of looks just like a curve to the right, and it says on your right. And then it kind of has one arch, and it says just missed us, like to do a U-turn. So they took the McDonald's arches and zoomed in and took various pieces of it, and it made really clever ads. And it doesn't even say the word McDonald's, but you know it is because of the colors in the arch. And I really like this one. This is a billboard, but before they made the billboard, they must have figured out the angle that the billboard was. And then they put, I don't know, it actually looks like a pitchfork sort of thing, but it makes a shadow of the McDonald's, the golden arches, and it has times on it. So like at 6 o'clock, it's a cup of coffee, and then it's like a breakfast sandwich, and then bagels, stuff like that. And it goes from 6 to 11. So I'm assuming as the sun rises, it probably, the golden arch, the shadow arch here, probably goes from the coffee cup, probably goes along with the time. So you get the time, you see the different products. Very, very well designed, really intelligent, very smart whoever made that. But they have a lot of money to invest in that. All right, books. I like to read books all the time. And I don't pay for them for the most part. I can't even remember the last time I paid for a book, and I'm going to show you exactly how. So there's 2 books on the screen right here. One's Fahrenheit 451. One is Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. It's Matthew Perry's biography. My wife Amy wanted to read that one, so we go to that one, and then I'm reading Fahrenheit 51. But you can see these are screenshots from Amazon, and you can see that if I purchase the Kindle version, the digital version, that'll be $14.99 for Matthew Perry's one, and then Fahrenheit 51 is $12.99. That'll be a total of $27.98 for 2 Kindle books. Now, of course, if you get the hardcover book, it'd be even more expensive. But I'm going to show you how I get all of these books for free. So what you need to do is you need to go to your local library. I'm assuming you're in the United States. Just check. I'm not sure if it's every single library, but a lot of the libraries are participating in this program. Go to library, get a library card. Now, you don't have to check out any books. Just get the card so you have a number with your name on it. And then on your phone, download the Libby app. It's Libby. It's by Overdrive. And then when you launch that, it's going to ask you for your library card number. And I think it's maybe your name. And so type all that in. And then what it'll do is it'll give you access to all of the digital library books that your library offers, and you can download it right to your phone. You don't have, and it doesn't matter where you are. And like I said, I've been traveling for years, and I download books to my phone from the library in Tampa all the time. And it's free. And it's so easy to set up. And here's an actual screenshot of the 2 books I was just telling you. So there's Fahrenheit 451, and there's Matthew Perry's book on my phone. And you can tell that it says one of them's doing 16 days, and the other one's doing 12 days. And of course, you can check it out multiple times digitally. So even if you can't read the whole thing in the amount of, I think it's 21 days at a time, you can always rent it, check it out again, and then just continue reading it. But it has bestsellers and classic books and all that. Really a great way to read books if you like reading. Okay. The last thing which I saw online, I thought was very, very clever, I'm going to try and describe this. It's sort of if you can picture like a electric powered unicycle, but it's not a unicycle. You actually attach it to the front of a wheelchair, and you basically turn your wheelchair into a little motorbike, electric scooter, whatever you want to call it, but you're still in your wheelchair. Yeah, because this thing attaches, it looks like there's maybe some sort of attachment in the middle, and then there's a place to put your feet. It's really great. And I'm just going to play this video here. But, it looks like something that like Apple would design. It's very modern. It's all electric. And you can see this person, it's on their wheelchair, and then they give it, I'm going to say give it the gas, but it's electric, you know what I mean? They let it go, and this thing is flying down the street. It actually looks like it would not be safe. There's a speedometer on it. It says 20, I'm assuming 20 miles an hour. I don't know if that's safe to go in a wheelchair. It's going off-road, and it actually hits like the curb, and it actually does like a little jump in a wheelchair. But this guy is cruising along in what looks like, it's not a car, but it's going fast like a car. He is zooming along here, and it's all because he just attached this device to the front. It's going through water. It's very, very impressive. I know nothing about wheelchairs, but if I had a wheelchair, probably would need something like that. That looks really awesome. Basically turns it into a little car. All right, so talking about cars and getting around, if you like to travel but haven't been able to, my wife and I are writing a book about our travel. We've been traveling the last few years, and the first book that we're writing, we actually go to 5 different countries, and we actually talk about how we set up our lives to actually be able to do this. We rented out our house. We get into a lot of detail, but a lot of interesting things that we've seen. We actually talk about Aruba, Croatia, Italy, Montenegro, and Greece in the first book. So if you ever want to travel, keep watching the show. I'll let you know when it's available. But for right now, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.